All right, so we are back again. So sorry, right now my computer's acting up. So if you want to contact me, the best way right now is either through Discord, because I have that on my phone, email, or you can call me if you have any questions. So yeah, I'm going to go over our last project presentation. So hopefully this will inspire you. I don't expect these to be monumental in scale, but play around with space and the idea of space using textiles and paper, hair, grasses, like natural plant materials. Those are all fibers. So if it's flexible and plastics, we'll consider fibers. If it's like flexible and like either yarn-like or sheet-like or paper-like, you can use it. So here we have fibers that explore space. So create your own space. And there are many ways people have created their own space using textiles, even homes. We've talked about the yurt when we talked about felting, but there are also teepees. This is an Lakota teepee. I'm sorry if I butchered that. And this photo was taken in 1891. Teepees are wood and cloth structures that are great homes for nomadic peoples, once common among Native American tribes as well as Native Northern European tribes and peoples. So you could create your own like space using a rigid material and fiber draping over it. Again, here's a yurt. This one's a Mongolian yurt or sorry. And this is another form of nomadic housing made of wood and textiles common in Central Asia. We discussed this before with felt and how strong of a material it is. So here you can see the wooden structure underneath that, and this would all be disassembled and packed up and moved along the steps. So yeah. Here we have, this isn't necessarily all fibers, but it is a really great example of creating a space within a space and using materials that you have on hand. So Mario Mertz is an artist from the Arte Privera movement or school of art that started in the mid-1960s in Italy when materials were scarce. They had a recession at that time, so they were using any materials that they could acquire and acquire cheaply. So here we have, and with Mario Mertz, he creates a lot of igloo type shapes, these dome shapes. So we have 853 done in 1985. This is out of metal, glass, twigs, wire mesh, tar paper, tar, neon, and string. This is a piece from Nancy Haymanway Barton, TP Waterfall. So this is embroidered made out of embroidery, alpaca, wood, and stones. So exploring the form of the teepee and what all the teepee can be as well, while playing with fibers, like the surface design of the protective cloth. This is Tracy Eamon, Everyone I've Ever Slept With. Everyone I've Ever Slept With, 1963 through 1995. This was made in 1995. And inside is appliqued in this tent the name of everyone she slept with between the years of 1963 and 1995. So really creating an enclosed space, but also showing a lot of emotional, it's showing a lot of herself emotionally. So you have this enclosed space that's protective, but also the space for the that the artist created that is very open and trying to think of the right word. Very open. Very vulnerable. This is an image from Don Hosu's work, Home Within a Home Within a Home Within a Home Within a Home. I hope I said that the correct amount of times. Made in 2013. This is polyester fabric and a metal frame. And this is the size of his home spaces. This piece also uses this polyester organza chiffon type material, which is common in Korean clothing, was commonly used in Korean clothing during the summer. And there's also a patchwork technique, which I've totally blanked out on the name of right now, for that Korean patchwork technique that uses this material, where you can see all the seams and everything like that. So it's really creates this ethereal blueprint of these homes, while really showing the structure of them as well. This is Segaro Lungar. I'm totally butchering that. A Sacred Place by Ernesto Neto, 2017. Here we have this crocheted installation space that is made for meeting with people and having magic rituals in that space, or ritualistic experiences in that space. Okay, spiritual experiences. This is Sheila Pepe. This is an installation view of Sheila Pepe Hot Mess Formalism, 19 or 2018. And Sheila Pepe uses crochet to create spaces of sharing and community. These spaces are meant to bring people together to have discussions. It's a discursive space. It's just a pillow fort. I found it on YouTube, or not on YouTube, on Google. It's for a website for stepdads on how to like build the best pillow fort. But this is an example of what you can use with your materials at home to create a space. And that these spaces don't have to be huge. This is a single person space. Here's a single person space. This is Nick Cave sound suit. This one was made in 2018. And these sound suits were created to protect and eliminate the wearer's race. So it's a protective space. It's a space of ambiguity while showing one's personality and who they are through the materials that are surrounding them. All right, so the spaces in between areas. So space doesn't necessarily have to be large, it could be small. What about the space in between threads of like a structure of a cloth? That space between your warp and your weft as you're weaving. There's the spaces between your body and the space within your body. Maybe you want to go like super micro. And this is not fibers. This is jewelry. This is made out of metal. I believe it's bronze. I kind of rushed this after my computer was acting up during my research, so sorry about that. This is Naomi Filmer, Toe Between Places. This was done in 1993, and it's a piece of jewelry. Looks like bronze or brass, and it's cataloging and filling the space between your toes. So you could do this with fibers in some way. Maybe you have put cotton balls between your toes to paint your toenails. What if you did that with like small soft sculptures? Maybe, and you didn't like necessarily paint your toes, or maybe you make these little soft sculptures to like paint your toes. Right? Maybe that's their purpose. So yeah, this is super open-ended, this project, and think of space in broad and macro and micro terms. Here we're going micro, or not micro. This is the opposite. This is Monumental. This is a Janet Eshelman piece, Dreamcatcher. This was done in West Hollywood during 2017, and this is like between two buildings, this netted piece. So still exploring an in-between space, but very monumental in scale. And then her website is amazing for more information about her pieces. So if you really like her work, definitely check out her website. Not all artists are good about keeping their website up to date, and with really great information on it, and she is. So definitely check it out if you enjoy this work. So you can also use fibers to define a space in some way. So here we have Christo and Janine Claude wrapped Reichstag, and this was a temporary installation done in 1995 in Berlin. So this building, the entire building, was wrapped with fabric. You do not need to wrap your entire building, but what if you wrapped a chair? How would you see that chair differently? How do we see this building differently? What if you wrapped part of your body? How would you see it differently when your arms aren't, if you wrapped around your torso, had someone wrap around your torso, or wrapped around a family member's torso with some fiber or even plastic wrap or something? How would the space that they take, their space, their negative and positive space, change? This we have Alexandra Birkin, Drape, 2007. And this is here a form out of wood and concrete and steel was made and then draped with cloth to create this enclosed yet open space for the viewer to explore. Basketry is fibers, and they're 3D weavings made from flexible plant stems and branches. Now people will use synthetic things as well, as long as it's flexible yet somewhat stiff. It'll make a great basket. At the Hand Weavers Guild a couple months ago, one of the weavers made a basket out of a bunch of old cords that her son had, for electrical things like appliances, TVs, computers that no longer existed, but he had all these cords. So she took it and made it into this great basket. So in this picture, this artisan is making wicker furniture. So wicker is traditionally made out of willow branches. So they're flexible, and as they dry and harden, they become stronger. But it's something that you can really play around with, and maybe it doesn't have to be a very well organized weaving, but it's something that you could play with. And there are other ways to make baskets, like coil baskets, that use, here, this is like a paper core. This in here, you can use even just strips of fabric and then wrap them with other strips of fabric or thread to create a basket. And it just coils around itself, and you use thread to stitch over top of the next layer. If you guys want me to do a tutorial using my computer or setting up my phone somehow to film it, this is a technique I do know how to do. Regular baskets, regular baskets, I have done a couple, but it's been a really long time. since like I was a wee child when I did a basket making class, because that was cool. So yeah. Anyway, this coil basket is made by the artisan Linda Straka Schuckster. And traditionally, these coil baskets were made with pine needles, especially in this area of the country. The Native Americans would use all the pine needles from all the great pines in southeast Texas to make amazing baskets. Yeah. This is a basket made by Linda and Pat Hickman Elliott, called Walk in the Woods, and this is out of hog gut and sticks. So it's combining multiple materials to create this form that looks as almost if it has been cocooned by like a webworm or something like that. So, yeah. And you could combine natural materials with synthetic materials as well. So maybe you go out for a walk, gather a bunch of sticks, come home and like use plastic wrap to create a form. This piece is by Catherine Westfall Cortez. This was done in 1995. This is out of raffia and rubber. So raffia is a natural material. I need to look up what plant it comes from again. And rubber is a natural and synthesized kind of natural. It starts out natural, and then it gets some why can't I think of the word? Shoot. Anyway, it's a combination of natural and man-made. And then lastly, we have a piece from Judith Scott. This is a piece from her show Bound and Unbound. She was an artist who had some learning and physical disabilities, and really found her home in fibers, where she would wrap these pieces that she called totems. So it's obscuring the original object that was wrapped and showing us the space it takes up, its positive space. And here you can the negative space of this piece is really evident as well. And this is also something you can do for your soft sculpture project as well. I don't know why I forgot to put her in the other PowerPoint, but I did. So she got included in this one because her work is great. And this is a YouTube video where you can watch her working with her assistant there to help. So anyway, that is it. I hope things are going well for you guys, and hopefully these are a welcomed activities to do at home that are therapeutic for you, as well as, yeah, fun. And I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy to the best of their ability. And just let me know if you need any help. I'm here for you guys. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.